my money. This is a concept coined in 1906, and in simple terms, it means that for many outcomes, roughly 80% of the consequences come from 20% of the causes. For instance, I've noticed that I finished about 80% of the tasks on my to-do list in the morning, when I'm most focused and productive, which is during the first 20% of my day. And for the remainder of the day, I'm much more likely to procrastinate. I'll come across something really interesting and go down a rabbit hole, like watching videos about how mammoths still walked the earth when the Great Pyramids were being built. Which means I should prioritize the most critical task in the morning when I'm in flow state to make the best use of my time and effort. Surprisingly, the same principle can be applied to personal finance, where 80% of your total expenses come from around 20% of your expense categories. For example, if my monthly expenses were $3,200 broken down by these expense categories, I can see that about 80% of my total expenses, or $2,400 of it, comes from 20% of my expense categories: rent/mortgage and dining out. So if I wanted to save money, it would be a lot more efficient and impactful to focus on cutting the cost of these two expense categories that contribute to most of my expenses, rather than focusing on these other ones. Try breaking down your expenses and identify which 20% of your expense categories contribute to 80% of your total expenses. Then start thinking about how you can cut those costs. You'd be surprised by what you can come up with. Can you refinance your mortgage, downsize, or change your car insurance providers? All these changes will save you a lot more than just cutting out a $5 iced coffee. The next strategy that helps me save most of my income is spending money to save money. And I know this sounds really confusing, but just hear me out. We're all limited by this concept called our savings ceiling. You can only save as much as you earn. Meaning, if you earn $5,000 a month, the most you can ever save is quite literally $5,000, and that's if you don't buy anything. And the only way to increase that savings ceiling is